What up, TK here, and we are dealing today with hard drive problems in my Macintosh 2. This is going to be a guide as to how to fix old Quantum SCSI hard drives that you have problems with. This hard drive has a operating system installed. No problem with the platters, no problem with the data, but it doesn't boot. Why doesn't it boot? You know, we turn it on, drive spins up, but we get the question mark on the disk which says I can't find any files to boot. So there's actually a very common problem with these drives, which I learned from another YouTube video from another user, which I'll link in below. As you can see, I've already removed the screws from this drive. Here's the problem. We'll just turn this off, take a look inside. There's the head. In here, under these screws, a couple of little bump stops, and over time they get sticky and the head doesn't want to move. So the problem is, we power up and the head can't overcome the stickiness of these little bump stops, and so it fails to boot. It may actually boot sometimes and you'll get lucky, but by and large, it won't. As you may have heard there, it tried to seek, but it couldn't make it. If we, however, push this manually past the sticky area, and then quickly reboot the drive, then the head is able to move. And we're able to boot the Macintosh. Now I'm going to show you how to fix this without ruining the drive, because I have ruined a drive trying to fix this before because I was confused. So here's my guide on how to permanently, or semi-permanently, fix this problem in these old Quantum Pro drives. So here's the drive in question, the Quantum Pro Drive LPS. There's a whole bunch of these 3.5-inch Quantum Pro Drive hard drives from the 80s. So here's the drive in question, the Quantum Pro Drive LPS. This is a 80 or 100 meg model, not quite sure. I actually initially thought it was a 40 meg model. Anyway, basically, a whole bunch of these 50-pin SCSI drives were used in Macintoshes of the era. Some were actually Apple branded and had the special Apple EEPROMs on board, which allowed the Apple formatting tools to format them. It was just a stupid way of Apple trying to make you buy more expensive hard drives. This is a non-Apple one, but basically, what we're going to do is go ahead and show you how to open this and fix a fundamental problem with these drives. This problem may affect other hard drives, but they're all built differently, so if you've got another hard drive, you can try this. It may or may not work for you. Interesting thing, I actually swapped the controller on this with a controller from an Apple branded one of these hard drives, so I guess this one does actually now have the Apple EEPROM. I have two Quantum Pro Drive LPSs. The other one I screwed up trying to do this. I've now learned how to do it properly. So let's get started. Let's show you the tools you need. Number one, screwdriver. Now you're gonna need Torx bits, you're gonna need hex bits most probably, and you're gonna need Phillips head bits. This is pretty much true of any hard drive disassembly you do. Now from here on out, my tips are gonna be pretty specific for the Quantum drives. First order of business, these 6 Phillips head screws around the edge. Now I've already undone these before, however when you first undo them they are incredibly tight and you will strip them if you're not careful. Here's the rules. First, Phillips head number 2, that's the size you want. If you don't have that, you will strip the screws, guaranteed. Phillips head number 2, that's what you need. Number 2, you got the screwdriver, apply a downward pressure. Don't break the drive, but apply firm downward pressure on the screwdriver. And then undo it. Obviously very easy because I've done this before, but it is absolutely necessary that you do that. You'll have to sort of crack the screw the first time to get it undone, and then you can go from there, because they are done up incredibly tight. I did actually strip a screw head on the first Quantum drive I took apart. Very embarrassing. So we undo the Phillips heads. Okay, now when you open this, you want to be very careful. You don't want to get a lot of dust and junk in there. You will ruin the hard drive, especially on modern hard drives. This is a very old hard drive. The data density is lower, so a little bit of dust won't immediately trash everything, but you've got to be very careful. So, done the 6 Phillips heads. Next is this one. This is a Torx. I believe it's a Torx 5. Your mileage may vary. Basically, every different hard drive generally has a slightly different set of screws, but commonly they use a lot. No, it'll be a Torx 6. Commonly they use a lot of security bits just to piss you off. There's no real legitimate reason for it. Not in my humble opinion. Now that screw and this nut here both were under warranty void stickers. Obviously we're not too worried about the warranty on a 20-25-year-old hard drive. Now this here, if you look closely, may confuse you. It confused me. It is a Torx, well, as you can see there's a Torx sort of screw head there, but then there's a nut. The nut's what we're going for. It'll make more sense once we get the hard drive open. So for that, and people are going to yell at me, but the only real way to do this is pliers because it is recessed. This one isn't generally done too tight. You want to get a nice firm grip and undo it, and then you can use your fingers. Now, I know that's sacrilege, but trust me, I've got this hard drive open and you haven't, so go to hell. So yeah, as you can see, if you actually want to take the head out, which I've done on one of these other drives, then you undo that, but otherwise do not play with it. Now, when I first did this, I was looking in completely the wrong area. I actually took apart, I took the heads out, I took this off, I took that off, I took the platters out, and that drive has never worked again. I'm going to keep working on it, but it probably never will work again. What we're looking for is to get this section undone. Now these are Phillips head 1s, not 2s. So we got our Phillips head 1 bit. Now be careful here, because you don't want to scratch the platters. That's where all your data's stored. Don't sneeze or anything of the sort. Again, pushing down because they are done up quite tight and you do not want to strip them. And that one's not coming undone, we'll have to come back to that. Come on. I'm getting worried already. Probably ruined it. Okay, we're in big trouble because we can't get that screw undone. This may be slightly game over because without being able to get that undone, okay, so you may find that screw's really tight, in which case you're screwed. So, what do we do next? We flip out a little bit, we're a bit scared. As you can see, where this screw was, there's a post. Just in there is this black rubbery material that after 20 years has gone all sticky, and as you can see that's actually coming away when I touch it, and that is what is causing our head to stick in place and the hard drive not to work properly. There is one on the other post as well, as you can see, just in there. Very hard to see because they are black, but again you can see one there, and this one will have gone sticky as well. We need to remove those. Now you can use pliers, however they generally come away pretty badly because they are all melty and gloopy, which is why you want to take this whole plate off, and then you can clean them up. Get a Q-tip in there with some isopropyl alcohol or methylated spirits if that's all you've got. Assuming you have no problem with the screws, once you've undone all three, grab here with your pliers, and you have to pull this plate up very hard because it's got magnets on it which are holding it down, which makes it difficult to deal with because when you try and take it off and put it back on, it wants to jump around, so you have to be very careful with it. Also, if you get this anywhere near the platters, you'll wipe them. So we can't do that. We're going to have to try and dig these out the hard way. Just going to see if I can do anything with that screw. No, that really doesn't Maybe I can cut that out. That is a tragedy. I really wanted to get that screw undone. Failing that, so we get our pliers. As you can see, that's just coming away. That's not going to work at all. And you do not want to get this black goop. You do not want to get this black goop on the platters, because that is game over, Sonny Jim. As you can see, look at that. That's what's ruining our head movement. I'm going to play with this, see if I can do anything about that screw. So, as I can't get the rubber goop out without taking this plate off, and I can't take the plate off because the screw is in the way, I've had to come up with a bad solution. I'm not lucky enough to have one of those special screw remover devices. Don't really want to drill the screw out because we'll create lots of tiny little bits of metal that will get in the hard drive and ruin it. So I found an even worse solution, which is the Dremel. Generally, if you're using a Dremel, it's because everything has gone wrong, you're having a bad day and you need to cheat. You use the Dremel, you then completely ruin whatever you're working on, and then you can give up. That's pretty much what's going to happen today. Now I've got a nice bit of paper here we're going to use to protect the platters to an extent. And we're just going to go for this, and it's probably going to end badly. Maybe I should just use the drill. Maybe I'll use the drill first. Alright, so reason got the better of us. We're going to try it with the drill first. This was not supposed to be a tutorial about how to deal with stuck screws. We got the problem that aluminium bits are going everywhere. We'll try and shake those out of the drive later. That's not really getting us well anywhere, but this is a crap drill. Let's try and find a better drill bit. That was bad. Always make sure your workpiece is secure. Success! Let's hope we didn't ruin everything in the process. So, let's grab our pliers. Blow the aluminium chunks out of the way. Ah, we've still got that goop on them. Not you. Looks like we didn't get too much near the platters. As you can see, up and away. And then drop the magnets on the floor, ruining their magnetization. All in a day's work. So if we focus, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's this black rubber, and I'm not going to touch that because last time I got it all over my hands, it took me half an hour to wash off. Very sticky, very horrible. So we're going to peel that off with the pliers, and we're going to do the other one as well, and get this hard drive back together, making sure all that aluminium swarf from cutting that screw is gone. So yeah, I highly recommend that if you don't have the proper tools and the screw gets stuck, drill it out. Oh dear, it's on me. So yeah, we're just going to want to grab that off. Now one problem is you can't just remove these bump stops, because then the head can move too far and can actually fall off the edge of the platter and damage itself when it tries to get back on, due to the fact the heads clamp together and then have to like wedge themselves back up to get on the platter again as they're spring loaded to put pressure on the platter. So you've got to replace these bump stops. I like to replace them with PVC tubing. If anyone wants to throw down a better suggestion in the comments, that'd be great. I don't know, I mean, this rubber or whatever it is hasn't held up over 25 years. I don't know how long PVC tubing will hold up. Certainly even after a couple of years, PVC tubing looks like crap. So if anyone has the best sort of 50-year plus material we should use for this, throw it down in the comments below. As you can see, that's gradually coming off. Yeah, we're just going to douse this with some alcohol and get it all nice and clean. So for those of you very interested in the failure mode, this is it. As you can see, we touch and you see that deform, and then the coil in the head can't actually get enough force to break that contact, which is why when we did it with our fingers and manually moved the head, we were able to boot the hard drive. And you see it coming away there. Absolutely disgusting. And that's why when you free it with your hands, it actually loosens up for a while. But then when the head parks, it eventually hits it again. As you can see, we've got some aluminium dust on the platter, but we'll have to probably just blow that off with our breath and then get moisture on there and ruin it anyway. Anyway, I will keep cleaning this drive up. Here you can just see me getting the gunk off the other post, which is actually a part of the hard drive. Bit hard because the magnets underneath keep pulling on the pliers, but we'll get there. This one isn't so liquid, but it's still pretty bad. If anyone knows what this material is, throw it in the comments. It's disgusting stuff. Okay, so we're going to replace those bump stops with a bit of aquarium tubing. This hasn't ever been in an aquarium, but it looks like it has. It's so old. Use fresh stuff if you've got it. I do not. This is, I think, 6mm stuff, which is too big, but it fits. I try to get as much of that black gunk out as I could, because you don't want it still sticking up the head. So you cut one bit for that pole, and another bit for the other post. So you may notice your heads may have slipped off the side of the platter. That's not great because it's very hard to get them back on without damaging them. So I'm just going to try and wriggle them back on with the minimum of fuss, which I've managed to do. The other thing is, this is a little stop bar. Make sure that's in position. And then you can go ahead and very carefully put this back on because it will snap into place. Now we're only going to put 2 screws back on because we drilled the third one out. That shouldn't be a problem. Okay. You notice one of the screws has a sort of cone on it for fitting into this slot here. One of the screws doesn't have a head because we drilled it off. I've tried to clean the platter with some methylated spirits to get some of the aluminium flecks off. I don't know how well that worked. Hopefully this drive still works because it was working fine other than the stupid sticking problem. The problem is, the problem's relatively easy to fix, but a hard drive is hard to repair because you damage it when you open it. And that really is the tragedy of it. Just gonna give a bit more of a swab. Probably Q-tip's terrible for this, and I'm peeling off the coating by using methylated spirits. Leave it in the comments. Let me know how bad I am at this. Most of you won't have to drill out any screws on your drive, and that should avoid the whole problem of the aluminium flex being in there in the first place. So we then switch again, switching to our correct Phillips head 2. Always use the correct size screwdriver for the correct screw, and you will have less problems in your life. Now I've actually lost 2 of the screws because I am a terrible person, but we will carry on. Kind of want to go and get lunch. There we go, screw, screw, screw. And we will test this hard drive shortly. Okay, so I've put it all back together. It is sitting in the Mac 2. I actually took it apart, gave the heads a bit of a wriggle because it wasn't working initially. I've put the top back on. Here we go, let's boot. Fingers crossed. Come on. Here we go, System 6 booting as expected. Yes, fantastic. So, basically, yeah, that is how you fix a Quantum SCSI hard drive. Oh boy, fantastic. It's so good to get a win. So good. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. TK out.